Hello everyone, I'm Roa. This is my first video on YouTube and it's going to be a video on Spring Security, role-based authorization with JWT. And before we can get into our code implementation, I would like to explain some flow and concepts of Spring Security first. And by that, I'm going to explain this JWT first. What exactly is it? And if you were to go to jwt.io, in here, you will see that JWT stands for JSON Web Token. And if you were to scroll down, you will see this unreadable string, and it has three colors, and each color is representing different parts of the token. So if you look at this red part over here, you see that this red part represents the algorithm used to encode the JWT and also the type of the token. And this purple part represents the data, and which call it a payload in JWT. This purple part represents the data like username, user ID, or JWT ID. It can be our expiry date and our issue date, and we can put many more inside of it. We can put our user full name, our user email or something. You can put as much as you want and as little as you want. And this blue one is the most important part of this token. This blue one represents the signature that used to encode and decode the JWT. So it basically is a string that has been hashed by this algorithm, and we can use this hash to create the token or decode the token. So this is the one important part, because if this were to get leaked, a hacker can get access to our application by issuing their own token. They even can issue their own admin role token, so they can have admin access with it. So be careful with that and store this somewhere safe. And yeah, now let's get back. And we're going to implement an access and a refresh token from this JWT. So, like, what is an access and what is a refresh? So basically, an access token is a short lifespan token that which for allowing the users to use our application. It can span from 5 minutes to maybe an hour or 2 hours if you want it to be that long. But personally, I like to make it around 10 minutes. And what happens if this 10 minutes is up? The user can no longer access our applications. And what next? Do they need to re-log in again? Not exactly. We have something called a refresh token. This refresh token has a longer lifespan than this access token, and it can be used to create another access token. It can be used to create this access token again. So if we want to create this access token again, we have to check if this refresh token is still valid or not. If it's valid, we can issue another access token with it. So basically, an access token is for accessing our application, and a refresh is for creating another access token. Hope you understand that. And we're going to store the refresh token inside of Redis. And why do we need to store it? So we can validate it and invalidate the token when the user wants to log out or something. And why do I use Redis? Because that I have stored it in a relational database and I have found some issue with it. The issue being that since a refresh token has an expiry date, I see no point in having it to persist in our database. I don't want it to fill up our database and slow down our production. And also, I find that when we create a refresh token table for it, it can complex our database design. It can have more complexity to it. Like one user can have many tokens. So like it will fill up our database very fast. So these are the reasons that I'm picking Redis over it. And the reason I'm using Redis because that Redis has something called TTL, time to live with it, or the lifespan of it, this lifespan. Essentially, if we were to create a refresh token for 1 day, let's imagine we create it for 1 day. If this 1 day is up, the refresh token will delete itself. So it will no longer persist in our database. And also, I would like you to know that Redis is an SQL database, but it's a part of the NoSQL database, not only SQL. So, and it's a type of not only SQL of key and value. So it's a key and value database. NoSQL have 4 types of database. That is, key value is one of them. And the key value is that if you have ever worked with a map before, like a map data structure, you know that key value is very fast for inserting and also retrieving from it. So it's very fast because that we don't need to mention this unreadable string. We don't need to mention it. We only need to mention the key that used to get it. So I make it like having something like refresh and plus our user ID. So we only need to put this refresh and user ID so that we can access this string over here. And yeah, I hope you understand about that. Now let's go to our flow of the JWT, flow of the Spring JWT. This flow, if you were to look at like this, I don't think you can understand it if you were new to Spring JWT. So that's why I'm going to give an analogy first so that we can understand it better. So over here, I want to get this analogy. So imagine that you wanted to go to the US. This is you wanted to go to the US. You bought the plane ticket and everything. And on the day of the departure, you will be going to the airport. Over here, you will have to go to the airport terminal to check in. And before you can go into this airport terminal, you will have to go at the entrance. And at the entrance, there will be a security guard asking you for your password, your passport, and maybe your tickets also. Depends on the situation. And if he checks everything and everything checks out, we can now go into the airport terminal. And in this airport terminal, you will have to go through several checkpoints. Like they will scan your luggages, they will check everything inside of it. Also, they will ask you to provide your passport again. You provide your passport again, and now they will have to scan you like this scanning machine that they scan your whole body. And once everything went through without an issue, you will notice that in this airport terminal, you see that there's a central security that governs over the airport. Like they provide this checking and everything, so you know that there's a security system inside of it. And this airport central security will also provide something like a team to verify your ticket if it's legit or not, and some team to verify your identity again. Like they will ask you to provide your passport again, and this time they will verify you. And also they can be asked for your government issue ID. They will ask and they verify your identities on who you say you are. And if everything in here checks out, you will be given a security pass. I don't know if any other airport give you this, but I'm just giving an example. You will be given this security pass. So what does this security pass do? Essentially, if some of the security asks you for your identification again, to identify you again, you will simply show them this security pass and they will verify if this security pass is legit. If it's legit, you will be having no issue with the security again, so they won't be asking you anything again. And what next? And everything is done. Now you can wait for the plane departure and enjoy your flight to the US. So yeah, that's the basic example of the flow. So now looks at the Spring Security. What is it have to do with this analogy? So you can think of this use credentials like we are providing a passport or maybe tickets or something. Like we are providing our emails to other applications. So emails and password. You can think of this email and password as the passport and this password as the ticket or something like that. And once you provide it, you will be going through a series of filters. So think of this security filter chain as you're going through this airport terminal checkpoints. Like in this security filter, I don't know how many filters are there in the security filter chain, but I only give example of 3 of this. So let's imagine that this is like when they are checking your luggages. They will check your luggages, and in here they will ask you to provide your passport again so that they can check you. And the last one, let's imagine that this is the scanning machine that they will be scanning you. Yeah, and once everything goes on without any issue, you will see that in here, this is the authentication manager. It's the same as this central security. It's the same as this airport central security. So basically, this central authentication manager provided this authentication provider. This authentication provider is exactly the same as this team of ticket verification and ID verification. So like in Spring, you have something called an LDAP, auth provider, and DAO auth provider, and many more. You have many different providers to authenticate you. So the authentication provider is exactly like this part of the diagram, part of the analogy. And once everything done, you will not here, but you will be given this authentication object. This authentication object holds something called user details. Sorry for the big words. And this user details will be essentially holding some user email, user password, and user authorities like role admin or something, like admin roles, user roles. Yeah, so this user detail will be holding everything. It will hold everything so that we can authenticate ourselves in. And this authentication object will be holding this user detail. So basically, this authentication object holds this user details, and this user detail hold everything about us, so like our emails, our password, authorities, and there will be something called a security context. The security context, I'll write it short so it won't be long. The security context will be holding this authentication object, and this security context will be put into this security context holder. So let's rewind ourselves. This security context holder will be holding something called a security context, and this security context will be holding the authentication object, and this authentication object is made of our user details. And essentially our user details is our email, password, and authorities. And I don't know why Spring make it long like this. I don't know why, but you can read the documentation for extra knowledge for this Spring security. Now let's go back. Once everything in here is done and we check out without an issue, now we can use the application. So we can browse the application until our access or our refresh token expires, like that. Now, so I hope you understand everything about Spring security with my analogy. And if you still have some issue with it, I recommend that you go to Spring documentation, and in here I recommend that you read everything about the Spring security part, since this is the best way to learn Spring security. I know because I have been stuck in tutorial hell before, and I unstuck myself because I Redis documentation. So I highly recommend it. And now I hope that you understand everything. And now next let's go into our coding implementation. See you. So now let's get started with our coding implementation. Now we need to create a project. So we'll be going to Spring Initializer and we'll create a project. I will be using Java and I will be using Maven to manage my package. And I will be using Spring Boot version 3.3.2. Also, I will be using Java 21 and packaging I will be using a jar. And now it will be this group. I will be using my name common.over. And this is going to be a project name, so security Redis or something. You can put anything you want. And now let's add a dependency. I will be using Lambda and using Spring Web, also Spring Security and Spring Data GPA. And I'll be using Postgres as my relational database. And once you have completed everything, you can just generate it. Since I already generated my project and have connected to my database and everything, I expect that you know a little bit or know some concepts about Spring Boot, so that when you learn about Spring Security, it will be easy for you. And because that we are using Redis, so I recommend that you download Redis. You can just search download Redis or something like that, and you'll be popped in here, and you can just click inside and download. I will not be showing you how to download Redis since I am using Linux, so the downloading process is kind of different. And I also recommend that you download Docker and just pull the Docker image of Redis from this Docker. Also, I also recommend that you use something like dbgate to manage Redis, since it has a unique user interface and is quite easily navigatable. So this is a dbgate. If you want to connect to Redis or a relational database something, you can just search like this and just put the name Redis. Now I'll start my Redis and I'll show you how to connect it. Now just search for the default port. The default port is 6379. And the username and password. Since I don't have a username and password for my Redis, I don't need to input it here. If you do have the username and password, you can input it right here. And now I've been picking a pilot, and now let's test it if it's connected or not. Yes, it is connected. So let's connect to the Redis. This is Redis. This is my old project. You can see that I have connected to Redis successfully. And if you have connected to Redis, you see that just db0 to db15. Redis automatically create database for us right away, so we can have db0 to 15. When we want to specify, we can just input the number of the database. I will show you how to connect it to Spring Boot in a moment. Now, I expect that you download Redis and dbgate already. So now let's add the dependency or library to implement JWT inside of our application. I'll be going to pom.xml, and here I'll show you how to put this in. I will remove it really quick so that I will tell you how to get this. So you just can go to Maven repository and go over here and just search JWT. We will be using this JWT API, and we're going to go into it. Now just go to the latest version and copy it and paste it here. And next is going to be JWT implement this one and do the same thing. Copy, paste, and the last one is going to be JWT Jackson. Now and paste it over here. Also, we need Redis, so we're going to need Redis client to connect to Redis. So we search here. Yeah, this is not this one. Oh, this is one. Yeah, Redis, this one, the Redis client. We can go over here, and I will be using the latest stable version. So this one, yeah, this one I'm going to copy and paste it over here. Now everything's download everything. If we download everything, so yeah, it have finished without any issue. Then let's close this application property, and we will before we implement, I would like to tell you that we are going to create a many-to-many relationship for our user roles. Like one user can have many roles, and one role can have many users. So we're going to implement a many-to-many relationship. Now let's go over here. I will be making a package called entity. And inside of this entity, I will be making my users. A user with S, since I don't want them to mix up like this. Since there's a lot of users provided by Spring, so I will be user with S. Now I will be making my ID. So private long ID, private string of semicolon. Over here is private string email, private string password, and private string first name, private string last name. Now these are the fields that I will be implementing. You can add any more field as you like. You can add your created at date, the update date. You can add as many as you like. I will be making this an entity so that JPA will create it for us. And I will be using data from Lombok. And because we created an entity, we have to provide the primary key, so the ID. And the generated value will be no, not the generator, the strategy of generating. So we'll be using the generate type auto. We're going to make Spring create the ID for us. And next, we do need another field. That field is the many relationship. So it's going to be a list of roles. This role and going to be roles like this, and going to be a new array list. Now let's import this one. Okay. Now we're going to implement this class. So create a role. This one. We're going to do the same thing. So entity data. And now for the field, going to be the ID, private long ID, and this is going to be the ID, and this is going to be the generated value, strategy, and strategy is generated type auto. Now I'm going to be writing the role name. So string role name. Now we're going to create the relationship between it. So list of users. This user and going to be users like this. Okay. Now import it really quick. Since we are creating a many-to-many, we need to make the annotation of many-to-many, and we're going to map it by thing. Now we're going to map it by this role. We must use this role, or if not, Spring will make an error when give us an error when we make the table. So this role must be the same as this one. And now I think I have created. Oh, I need to make a JSON since I don't want it to be present when we are showing, since there's a lot of roles. And now we're going to add another many on this side, so that the fetch type, we're going to make it a fetch type eager. There are two fetch type. Is fetch type is going to be eager and fetch lazy. This one will fetch immediately, and this one will fetch when needed. Like this one when needed, and this one is fetch immediately. So it will fetch immediately, fetch everything immediately, and this will fetch when needed. Hope you understand that. And now we're going to create a repository. Before we create our repository, we need to implement something called user details. This user detail, why we implement it, is because, like I said before, we are going to create this authentication object. And this authentication object that I said in my analogy is that it needed this user detail to create it. So let's go back and now let's implement the method. I'll be using these two methods, then since these two will be automatically make it for us, because the latest version can make it for us. The latest version of Spring Boot can make it for us. Now, this one I'll be returning my emails, since we want to validate the emails, and this one is going to be the roles of stream. Essentially, we are going to loop through everything and make everything inside of this role. Okay, and map. We're going to map this role, make a lambda expression, and we're going to turn each role that in here into a new simple granted authority. This one, and now we just say roles dot get role name like that. Now it's giving us an error because we haven't created into a format which is understand. So we're going to say collect dot collector dot to list like that. So everything is working fine. This because I have downloaded this JVA Explorer, so it doesn't want us to use this. So it's okay. And now everything is working fine. Now we're going to create our repository. So now this one. Now we're going to create our repository. So I'm going to call it repo. And in this repo, I'm going to create an interface, two interfaces for our roles and for our users. So it's going to be user repo. This is going to extend JVA repository. This JVA repository will take the type of our entity and the ID of our entity. So since our type is going to be user like this, and now since our ID is along, we're going to write along, and we're going to add it with a repository like this one. Now we're going to create a find by email method, so that it will query the data from the database by the email. So we're going to make it an optional. This optional, and going to be the user. Okay, now let's import it. Now going to be find by email. Find by email. Let's start again. Find by email. This one, and going to be a string email. We only need this one. Now let's create another one that is the role repository. Now let's role repo extends JPA repository, and we'll provide the entity that is the roles and the ID is the long. Now I'm going to create another add repository, and we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to find by the role name. So optional. Yeah, don't make it optional, just make it roles. I only need the roles. You can make it optional if you like, but I just need the roles. So find by role name and string role name. Okay, now everything seems to be okay. Yeah, that's not worth mentioning. So next, we're going to create something called a user detail service. This the user detail service will be providing this to the database for us. So like we will create a service. No, not service. I will create another package called security, and I will be putting it in here. So new user detail service implement. I will be calling like this. You can make it short if you like, and I will make it a component, and this is going to I believe it's going to be extending. Is it an interface? Oh, it is an interface, right? Oh no, it's an extend since it's a detail service. Oh, I was right. It's now implement method, and this is going to be implement since it is an interface. Yes, like this. Now we're going to add this user repo into here, so we're going to auto-wire it. So let's inject it here. Define all user repo, and we're going to inject it here. Now just right click and add constructor parameter. Now over here and auto-wire. I believe the newer version of Spring Boot doesn't need this auto-wire annotation on top of this constructor, since Spring will know everything, but it is a good practice to do it, since I believe a lot of code are not using the latest version of Spring Boot, so I think you should use this auto-wire. And now this is going to return. Okay, I think it's going to return user. No, not this one. User repo dot find by email. So the listener will take the username. Since we'll be using a username, so since we're making an optional, so we can use OS throw exception. So go like this: new username, not found exception, user not found. We'll make it in a new line, and I can just delete this, and everything is working fine. So now we have implemented our entity, our repository, and our user data service. Now I think we should connect. Yeah, we can just connect to our Redis right now. Making another config. No, dot config, and I will be connecting to our Redis. So I'll show you how to connect to Redis like this. So Redis config. This is going to be a configuration. Our configuration, and now we're going to enable Redis repository. I don't think we need this. I will put it, since I read somewhere that we should put it. Now we're going to create a bean. Since we are making a configuration, we should use this bean, and since we are making a bean, that's why we are making a configuration class. So going to be public Redis connection factory. This one. This one is from a Redis that we have. Yeah, this one is from a Redis client. It's Redis, and we can use it over here. And now Redis connection, and we're going to create some an object of Redis standalone configuration, and we can name it anything we want. I name it Redis, and we're going to create this object Redis standalone configuration. Now after creating this object, we're going to set everything. So I'm going to set the host name. Since I'm using a localhost, I will be putting here localhost. If you were to deploy this to AWS or something, you can provide the path to it over here. So now I will be setting the Redis port. The default port is 6379. That is the default port of Redis. And now Redis.set database. This is the most important part. If you were to go look in here, you see that it will take an integer and not a string format. Why is that? Like I have mentioned before, Redis have created database based on indexes for us. We can use any database you want. We just need to specify the index of it. I'll be using, this time I'll be using the number 2 one. So over here, I'll provide it number 2. Now let's return new Redis connection factory. No, not this one. Redis connection factory, this one, and we'll be putting Redis inside of it. We'll be putting this configuration object inside of it. And now we are going to make a template to use Redis. Spring Boot has created many ways to connect to Redis. There's a lot of templates. They can be this Redis template, and there's also this string Redis template. I will be using this string Redis template, since we'll be using a key and value of type of string. So string Redis template and create an object over here. We will need to inject this Redis configuration, Redis connection configuration in here. So this one, connection battery and Redis connection. Now I have checked it. So now string, we will create a object of this type. I will make it public. Now make a template and new string Redis template. This string, Redis template, this one, and after creating it, I will set the template inside of it. So template dot set connection factory, this one, this above one, and we'll be putting this Redis connection, this connection that we have injected, so inside of here. So when we return template, yeah, so everything is working here. Now let's try to connect to it. Let's see if you have any errors or not. We don't seem to face any issues, so I think it's working fine as expected. So now we're closing it. And next, we're going to create our Spring configuration class. So I will make this one Spring security config. Security config. Okay, this one will be a configuration class. So I will be adding configuration over here. And now let's get into the implementation. I will provide the enable web security on this one, so we will know that this is a configuration class. And next, I'm going to create a bean of type. This bean of type public security filter chain. This is one, the security filter chain, this one. And we're going to create security filter. And now inside of here, inside of this, we will be using this HTTP security. Now just say HTTP. And now I'm going to make a try catch block, since I don't know any errors that will arise when we are implementing this. I'll make a generic exception. You can add as additional exception handling if you want. I will not be showing you in this video. So yeah, it is going to be throw new runtime error E and okay. Now this try block, we are going to return this HTTP, but this time we're going to add a configuration. What do we want? So this is going to block the cross-site scripting forgery. So we closing it. So let's just say abstract HTTP configure, yeah, like this one, and we can do a double colon and disable it. You may see other people do something like this. They can just say CSOF and CSOF dot disable. It's pretty much the same thing, but I would like to do this, and it is the best way to do it. And now I can add. No, I would not like to add it for now. I will make the session for it. Since we are using JWT, I will be using session management. So like this, I'll show you session dot session creation policy, this one. And in this session creation policy, I will be using this stateless, since JWT is stateless. Now I will make it in no. Okay, now I think everything is going smoothly. So next, I'm going to add the filter before. We have not implemented this yet, so I will show you later. And now I'm going to add the provider. I believe it's provider. No, since it is giving us error now right now. I think I'm going to implement it. No, just close it before now. I'm going to make an authorized HTTP request. I will show you how to add the filter in a second, but I would like to show you how to what this authorized HTTP request does first. So over here, inside of here, we can make a lambda expression like this. Now go to new line, request. Dot request matches. This request matcher is the pattern of our website. Like if you got to go inside of here, there is like an endpoint. Like there is like imagine it as a door. If we were to go to this building, like imagine mavenrepository.com is a building, and this artifact is a door, and this Redis client is a door within this door, and just imagine it's door in a door. So yeah, it's like we are navigating through doors in a building. So for me, I will call it like something called like API of register. Since I will tell you why I will be doing this. Okay, now API dot of dot login. I'll make it to a new line. Now a new line again. And API dot home. I will be making this permit all. Since everyone can register and everyone can log in, and our home method, I think we should make it permit all, since everyone can watch our website. But if they want to do something, they will have to register. So it's like that. And now I'll be making another request matches. Over here, going to be another request matches. This request matches is going to be API dot user, and another one is going to be API. Oh no, API and slash admin. This is going to be dot ne. No, not this one. It's going to be ne. Where is it not working? As any. Oh, it needs to provide a role first. So yeah, I will delete this first. So now it needed roles. Okay, as any of what is. Okay, I will tell you the difference between this in a moment. So can say users and admin. Now let's create another one. Let's measures. It's kind of the same thing. This one is going to be the admin, and only the admin has access to it. Okay, now any request dot authenticated. These requests must be authenticated, but this one anyone can access it. So this request anyone can access, even though they have not logged in yet. But this endpoint must be logged in at all costs. So that's why I'm saying any request dot authenticated. Most of you might run into some issue with Spring Security because that this thing called has any role. Yeah, has any role. It's pretty much the same thing of has any authorities, but with a slight difference. You can go to Google and search has any roles and has any authorities. You can search it over here. And now, yeah, let's go on this one. Yeah. Now we can search down over here and see the difference between roles and granted authorities. Not this one, I believe it is one. Yeah, this is one. Not that same thing. The difference between both of these is that this role has any role, this one, it will do something like this. This has any roles. it will need something called a role prefix like this. So if you were to make it user, the user in the database must be something like this. A role user. It must have this role prefix. If not, it will not work. I see a lot of people have faced this issue, so even myself, I have a lot of issue with it. So that's why I'm using has authority. Because has authority is kind of the same thing, but what a slight difference is that this has authority. This has authority will not create will not ask us to provide this role prefix. So if the user in the database have this user is user like this, it will be the same like this. If here is user in the database must be user, but the role in the database must have a role prefix in front of it. So that's why we are using has any authorities. Now I will change back has any authorities. And now I think we can just build it. Yeah, I have returned it already. So now format it. I will be adding more. So I will be adding filter before, and I will be adding the provider. So authentication provider. Where is it? This is it. I will be adding this. I will create it over here. So I create another class that's going to be our bean config. Now I'm going to make a configuration class, since we'll be creating beans within it. So bean. This one I will be making a type of authentication provider. This authentication provider of authentication provider, and over here, what is issue? Oh, we haven't make it yet, so don't worry about this. We will make it in a moment. So we will be using something called DAO authentication provider. Since there's a lot of providers, but I will be using this one since we are working with a database. You can use something called like this, LDAP, I believe, LDAP. Yeah, LDAP provider like this. Yeah, this one, LDAP authentication provider, or maybe something called OAuth provider. So I think I haven't been. Oh yeah, this is one. But I will be using this DO authentication provider, and I will make the class. I will making an object for it. So everything is working now. Be formatting it really quick. Now, this DO authentication provider, we can set the user detail service. This user detail service we have already implemented right here, so we'll be using that. In here, we're going to inject it here. So private final user detail service. This one, the detail service. Now right click and add constructor. Now let's auto-wire it. Everything. Now let's set it over here. So user detail service. And this DAO authentication provider will be needed on password encoder to compare our password hash. So this set password encoder over here. We will need to create a bean of type password encoder. So bean public password encoder. No, not this password encoder and password encoder. Here we will be returning a new this one, this bcrypt password encoder. We'll be using this algorithm to encrypt a password, and we can pass it over here. So password encoder. Everything is done. Now we can go back over to this config and make it a type of authentication provider. So we can inject it over here. Private final authentication provider. Now inject it into this class and auto-wire it. Now put it here. Provider. See, everything is working. Make it over here. We will be implementing authentication filter in a moment, but right now we'll be making another bean that is the authentication provider, authentication manager. authentication manager. This one and authentication manager. Now we're going to inject an authentication or configuration into this authentication manager. Yeah, this is one authentication configuration. I just say auth config. Yeah, this auth config dot I believe it's dot get authentication manager. And now let's see why it's showing error. I think return step. Oh, I haven't returned it here yet. So return DO of any provider. Yeah, I believe this one. Now, and this one, I believe it needs to be in a try catch block. So we can right click and show you can run with one try catch block since it can have an exception. And now we're going to return it. I can just return it over here. See, now it's not giving us any errors anymore. It still give us error because we haven't implemented this JWT filter yet. So I believe I made every configuration. Let me double check. Let's delete this. Yeah, I believe I have made everything. So this one, close all of this class. Now we'll be implementing a JWT filter. So I click and we can make a JWT filter like this, and we will make it a component. Now this JWT filter will need to extend this once per request filter. And now just I click and implement method. And you might be wondering why it's not implementing this one per request filter. Instead, we're using extend. It is because it is an abstract class. That's why we need to extend it. And now over here, we have this figure line since it being telling us it can be null, so we can assert it non-null. This one, so it no longer have any figure line. So non-null again. And now another one. Okay. Oh, it will throw serverless exception and IO exception. Okay. So now we can go try and fetch block for it, and I will be putting both of these inside of here. Over here, and now and exception over here. Now let's delete over here. Now go to runtime exception. I encourage you to make your own exception handling, but I will be not showing you since it can take too long. And over here, this will give us an error since it doesn't know that this method will throw us any errors or not. I will not implement it right now since we do need JWT to find the JWT first. We will need to create a JWT util first. JWT utils over here. I'll make it some component, but I will make it inside of here first. So JWT filter. No, I will private final JWT filter, JWT filter, and right click and add it to the constructor. Now this one, this add filter before will take the filter that we created and the class that is going to be filter that this filter need to do before this class. So the class that we will filter before it is called a username password authentication filter dot class. You must make it a dot class because it is asking us for a class over here. Now you see that it's a check mark, so everything is working fine. And now for this implementation, now over here, we be taking a string of header equals to this request. We essentially taking the request header from it. Request headers, get headers, and it will be using this header. I don't think we should use something like this. We can Spring no, Spring does provide us with implementation of it, so we can just say HTTP header, like header, header. Yeah. You must import this second one is org.springframework.http, this one, and we can dot, and here you can put it over here. Then we might make a mistake when we are typing a string, so I think we should use it like this. Now we're going to check if the string is valid or not. So we can just say if of header doesn't equal null, means that the header is present in our request. So, and the next part, if we are checking if it contains bearer prefix or not. So it's going to be and of header contain bearer. So we're checking, since JWT have a bearer prefix in front of it, so we need to provide it over here. So here we're checking if the header is not null, and the of header does contain this one, contain this bearer prefix. And if it doesn't have any of this, we can just say filter chain, do filter, request, and response. Essentially, if you see that there's a filter chain dot do filter, it means that it will move to a next filter in the filter chain. And now we can just return over here. Now we're going to extract the JWT. So it'll be a string JWT equals to this is going to be the op header or substring. And we're going to provide the number 7. Why is it giving us an error? Oh, it said it's never used, and this one substring may produce null pointer. Why did it say it may produce null pointer? Oh, it's not null. Yeah, we'll check it in a moment. So this one, and we're going to get this email, the user email from this JWT. Now we'll implement it over here. We will essentially making this inside of here. So now let's go back and check is everything I have checked it. Oh, okay. The auth header, check this part and everything. Now let's go into this JWT utils and let's implement our JWT. So it's kind of silly mistake. That now I know why it telling us that it may produce a null pointer exception. It's because we are telling it it's not null, so we're going to do it is equal null. Sorry for that. And now we are going to, and now what is this one doing again? Oh, we are checking over here, so it's going to be or it doesn't contain the bearer. So it's a mistake for me. So that's why the ID telling us that it may produce a null pointer. So now in here we're going to implement our JWT. So now we're going to generate our token, but before that we need a secret key. So we can just go to Google and search secret key generator, and we can go here and we can just copy over here, copy this one, or can copy this one and put it inside over here. So we can just say secret key. Make sure that you store this somewhere secure so that it will not be leaked. For right now, I'll be putting in application.priority. I encourage you that you can put in something like a .env file, or when you are deploying it to GitHub, you should make a git node on this application property. And now next, let's see, back to this JWT filter. Now we're going to get that string that we put in our application property. So private string secret. I'll make it uppercase all, so secret key. Now we'll be getting this value. We need to use this one, the above one, string.bin, you get point. And now in this string, we should make a $sign and a curly braces. But now we can just say secret, and our IDE will tell us if you are using IntelliJ IDE. So we can control and click, it will point us to this application property. And now let's implement our create access and refresh token. Since I tell you in the earlier of the video, we will be implementing a create and we will be creating an access and a refresh token. So I can just say public string generate access token. This generate access token will be using a user details. So like this, user detail and user detail. And over here, we'll be making a claim for it. So a claim, I'm going to be using a hash map over here, and will be a string and return an object. So claims new hash map this object, and we're going to put our claims inside of this. So claims.put, and the key for it, since the hash map has key and value, and authorities, and it's going to be user details dot get authorities dot stream. We're going to iterate over it and map. I'll make it in a new line and map each into candidate authority like this. Candidate authority and get authority. It's just like the same as we are doing it right here. It's kind of the same thing. We can make a lambda expression, but this is kind of shorter and easier to understand. And now we're going to dot collect, and we're going to say collector just dot to list. This one. Now everything is done. Semicolon. And now let's create our JWT. We're going to return and use this JWTs io.json web token that we have imported in our pom.xml. Yeah, this one, this guys. See, it's the same. io.json web token. So JWTs and import it. Now go to a dot, and we're going to build. So it is using a builder pattern, so we can make it easily without making an object for it. And the ID of it, you can make an ID if you like. I will show you how to create it. If you don't want it, you can just delete it. Now I'll make it a UUID and random ID and toString, because the UUID is quite long and it's not memorable. And now I'm going to be putting the claims like here. If you have ever watched another Spring security tutorial, you might see that people are using this set claims. I don't recommend that you use this because it is deprecated and it will be no longer in use in the future. It will be deleted in the future. So if you read it over here, depreciated since 0.12 in favor of using claims builder. So it's saying that we should use this claims instead. So we're going to put our claims like this, and now go to dot, and this subject we can make our user emails like user.get username or something, and You can add as many as like. You can even add audience. You can even add issuer. Yeah, I'll be putting the issuer. So issuer is going to be the issuer. It can be your email or it can be your name or something. I will show you an example like this. GTP .io or something. Yeah, like this. Yeah, just like this. You can make it like that. And now for the sign bot is going to be a key that we have stored, but we cannot just use it over here. So if I try to use it over here, it will get given us an error because it is getting a byte. So if we were to insert it would be using a key, so it will be a type of key. And now we're going to create a key for it, so we're going to make it so private. I believe it is a secret key type. Yeah, this one, javax.crypto. And now secret key. And we'll create this method, and this method we will create a key, so we're going to return keys. This one, JSON the io.json.token.security, this one, and dot we will be using this hmac SHA key for now we're going to make a secret key, and it's because that this is going to get a byte, so we're going to make it to a byte. So just say get bytes like this. So everything is working, so we can just put a secret key in here, and now everything is working fine. Now you will need to put your expiry date. So dot issue at I will make it global, so over here I'm making private dates imported. Now dates issue date, and will be you can just make a new date like this for simplicity reasons, but for me I like to do something like this: date dot found instance dot now. It's kind of the same thing, but I like to do something like this. So we can make it a final private. Final. We're going to make another date that is going to be expiry date. So expiry date, and going to be the same thing. Date dot from instant now, but a little different since we are making sure that it will expire at the time. So we're going to plus, or since we are making an access and refresh token, I'll make it an all access. So we'll be copying like this, and this one is going to be refresh. This plus, we can plus how many hours or how many minutes we want it to be. So I will be making it around 10 minutes. So 10 and dot. And this one we can use this called chrono unit. So we can make it a chrono unit of 10 minutes. Now semicolon. This is kind of get in the way, so can close it really quick. Now for this refresh token, I will make it a little bit longer, so I can make it 2 days. So chrono unit, we can make it days like this. Now let's go back here and just say just put the issue as date. Now the expired date, expiration date. Now we can make it access. We are creating access, so expiry date and dot. Now we're going to make it compact, and now it's done. We have generated our access token. For the refresh token, it's kind of the same thing, but yeah, you can argue that you can generate both at the same time, but for me, I would like to show you a little different. So I will be putting over here and copying the same thing, but this I will be making a refresh token. So refresh. Now this is kind of same thing. Okay, but this I would like to add something. So this claim, so that you know how to use it. This claims takes name and object value of it. So it's like a key and value of it. You can just say names. You can just say it like this. Oh, but for the refresh token, I will have extra information on it, so we can make a new hash map, and string object extra claims. So like this, and now we're going to put the extra claim over here, but this is not over here. Okay, I'm going to put the extra claim over here. Now this one, I will be putting something like this. I will show you how to use this. So for this dot, you can put it like this, so we can make it like authorities. Authorities like this, and authorities. So both of these is kind of the same thing, but one you have to specify the key and the value for it. This one you can just make a hash map for it. That's why I'm showing you how to do it. And next, for refresh token, we need to validate it. And how to validate it? We can just create an object that will decode the JWT with the key. That's why this key is very important. If it were to get leaked, it will cause trouble for our organization. So to dissect it, we can just create it. It will return claims. Then this JWT is a claim after all, so it's going to return a claim. Going to make a claims. I'm going to say extract all claims, and this will take the JWT to string JWT, and this will return JWT, the same one, JWTs, but this time we will be using this parser, and verify it. Some people like to use this sign key resolver, but it is deprecated. Yeah, deprecated. So I will show you the new way to do it. You just can say the verify button and the secret key to use to verify it. And now we're going to build it. This one build. And now we can pause and claim. Pause and claim is it will take this token, so we can add the JWT inside here. Yeah, okay. Now let's get a payload. This get body is the old way to do it, so it's deprecated. Now if you read over here, return JWT payload, either a byte or claims instance, use get payload instead, as this method will be removed prior to 1.0 release. So it tells us to use this new method, so get payload over here. And now after we get everything, we need to validate it. So let's I will make it this a private, since we shouldn't make it this put the key to be public. So like this, we're going to get the username, so extract username. You can just call it extract email, since we are using email to validate as well. Extract email, and we're going to make a string tokens, and now extract it will, we will return it. Return this one. Return extract all claims. Extract all claims dot get subject. Since we are over here, we are putting the get username as the subject. Since we have implemented in here this all, since this get username will return the email, so that's why we are putting over here. So this get subject. Now we provide the token inside here. Now there shouldn't be any issue with it. Yeah, so like that we can extract our claims. A lot of YouTube channels like to use, or a lot of code on GitHub they like to use this function. I know that it is a best practice, but it is not easy for newcomers to learn about it. So that's why I'm using basic simple code. You can implement this function if you like. This function it will convert to everything for you, but I would like to use this instead since it makes the code simple and easy to read. So next we're going to extract the expiry date. So we're going to return a date. So extract the date, exp date. This will take the token also, and it will return this extract then extract our claims and we buy the token. I'm having a software. Sorry. Now we're going to get the expiration over here. So everything is working. So now let's validate it if it expired or not. So we can just say private boolean, since it is a boolean after all, is token expired over here. So we can return. I think we should provide it over here. So string token one. Yeah, we should provide it over here. So extract exp date tokens before what you should extract the state for. Oh, I think we should make it's like this so we can make expiry date to compare it with. So extract our claims. Oh, I think we already done that. So that before yeah, we can just say dates dot from instance dot now. We are saying if it is before the current date, it is not expired. So like that. Now let's validate it. So public boolean is token valid or not. This token valid will, I believe we should take the token also, but this time we will have to get the user detail also. User details. Then we will validate this user email also. Over here we can say user details, or not user detail. We can make a string of email equal to user detail dot get username over here. Now we're going to return emails dot equal to the object. So the object would be oh, this will be quite long, so we're going to extract the email. So we're going to be token over here. This email will be validated against this one, so get username. So we can invert it, but this is easier to read. And we're going to check if it's expired or not. So it's token expired. So we're going to say token. This we're going to not expired. It's not expired. We're going to make it add over here. You can invert it over here, but I would like to do it like this. Now I believe that we have everything. So let's double check. We have generated our secret key, generate our access token, generate the refresh token, extract all the claims, extract username. Yeah, I think we have done everything. So let's go back to the JWT filter. And in this filter, we will make this filter again. So now, after I have implemented this, so I'm going to inject it over here. So private final JWT utils. Now I click a constructor and hardwire. I'll be closing this, and now let's go over here and we can say JWT utils dot tag email. We're going to provide this JWT, and now we're going to check if this user email is present or not. That means if if this doesn't contain any email, it will not be a valid JWT. So let's check it. Email is not equal null, so it must be present. And next, we're going to check if the user is authenticated or not. So we're going to check like this. So we're going to check the security context holder and get the context of the location and get authentication. And it is called null. That means that the user is not logged in right at the moment. And next, we're going to create a user detail. User detail, and we're going to make the we're going to inject this user detail service. So private final user detail service, this one, and I click add to constructor. Since we will be using this one dot load user by username, and we will provide the user email like this, it will load it for us. And next, we will have to check if the token is valid. JWT dot JWT util dot is token valid. Oh no, is token valid. So we will be the JWT and the user, yeah, like here. We will be putting it, over here. So next, we will, if it is valid, we will be creating an authentication object. This authentication object and auth token, and new username, password authentication token. We will be using this, but you can argue that you can make it like this. Name, since this is the best practice. Since this username authentication token does implement this authentication, it will implement this one. Now clear it. And here we will provide the user details, and I'll show you why. And if you go in here, you see that they will need us to provide the principal, credentials, and authorities. I don't know why they need us to provide the credentials, because it is not safe to show your user password, so I will be making null. And this is going to be user details dot get authorities. So yeah, everything works without any issue. So now let's go to next. And the next, we are going to set the authentication details. So we can just say this auth, which one? Auth, I will rename it to auth token. Auth token dot, we're going to set the details. The detail is going to be getting from, we will be getting it from this request. So it's going to be set details. But for that, we make a new, this one, this web authentication detail with detail source. In here, we'll be putting the request. So over here, and why it's not working? Oh, it's not doing that. We have to build it first. Build details and request. And next we are going to put this authentication object inside of this authentication holder. So we're going to get context dot set authentication. We're going to set it in here. So we can say off. It basically means that we can just set this authentication. It basically means that we're setting this authentication inside of here, inside of this set authentication. And now everything is working. Let me double check. Thing of header dot request get header. We are going to get a header, and we are going to validate it. If it is equal null and doesn't contain param, it means that it is not a JWT based authentication. And now if it does have a header, and we will be getting this JWT, and with this JWT we'll be extracting the emails from it. And if this email doesn't exist and the security context holder is empty, we will be creating a user details by loading it with the user emails. And we're going to check again if the token is valid and the user details is valid. And we're going to set the user detail with this username password authentication tokens and we'll be making the password to null. The credentials is the password, and we're going to set this user details dot get authorities. And now I think everything is working fine. Everything should be working fine. So the next thing to do is going to filter chain that do filter request and response. Like I said before, this do filter chain, if you see it, it means that it will move to the next filter in the filter chain. So let's go to the security config. So everything is working fine. Now let's delete it over here. So without an issue. Now let's close it. Next, we are going to create our authentication service. So again over here, authentication service. Well, can just call it auth service. This auth service will be making our user registration and login with the saving the token into the Redis. So we can make service, and now we're going to go down here. I think we need to import this JWT utils and the password encoder as well. So private final password encoder, password encoder. Since we need to hash this password, so and also we need to create a JWT, so we'll be using the JWT utils. JWT utils, and next is going to be the repository. So all repo private final. I'll make it final user repo. And okay, I make a simple mistake. Now just right click, add to constructor, implement everything, and everything should work fine, and auto-wire it. And now it is a best practice if we were to create the DDO to make the request and make the response. So I will be making another package. So DDO. This is going to be response DDO. Right click, vector name, response DDO. Now let's go back to here. I believe, yeah, I'll make this one, but I will make another method for it. So it can be public string get full name. You don't have to grade this, but I would like to grade it since I want to get the full name of the user. So and return it. So like first name equals and space, and now last name like this. Now the response is going to be string. I think I should make it a record. Yeah, record is better. So let's make it a record, and now just say string full name, string email, this list of roles. Okay, and I will return the JWT as well since I will be tagging it. So JWT on access token, let's say access token thing refresh token. Now we'll be adding a builder to it, so we'll be using a builder pattern. It's easier to create object. Since we don't need to create object to insert a value. Now what is the error? What is the error of it? Missing return statement. What is the error for it? Oh, okay. Missing return statement. What is the return statement that it wants? don't think it's needing a turn statement. Now let's right click to quick fix. What is going on? Okay, so I make a silly mistakes. It's supposed to be record, but small or so like this. Sorry for the delay. And now let's go back to off service, and now let's see if we can just say public uh, uh, response DTO, and over here we're going to create a registration method. So we're going to say register, and this one going to be over here. We're going to make it a type of register. We can make it a user register. Okay, now we can make it a user. You can make a DTO for the registration if you want, but I will not be using. Oh, maybe we will use it. Now we're going to go over here. Going to make a record first. It's going to be pre register DTO. This register DTO will be a string of email, string of password, and string of first name, string of last name. Yeah, we only need this. And now over here we can make it something like this. Register video and register. So over here. Now I'm going to search the username for search the role first, since we don't know if the role is present or not. So I will be making the user have a default role that is the user roles. So the roles dot role report dot find role name. The role name will be users. I will be creating these users in our database in a moment. You must create it this in the database before you can do the implementation. Now I'm going to make it an uppercase since I want it to be an uppercase too. Uppercase. And now we're going to, I don't think we're going to need this, so okay, like this. And now we're going to make an object of the register DO. Register DO equal to new register DO. New register DO. We're going to respond it with it now. I don't think we should make it. Nah, let's not make it. We can just make the user object, so new user, and user dot set emails go to the register dot set email. User dot get email. Why it's not working? Right. Oh, since we are using a record, so that's why we don't need to specify the set and set and get method. User dot set password register dot password. This password must be hashed, so I'm going to be password encoder dot encode register dot password. We need to hash it first. Now we're going to scroll down and users dot set first name going to be register dot first name. This one user dot set last name going to be register dot last name. And now for the roles, user dot set roles. This role will be a list so that we can make it a list of roles like this. Now I think everything is working. Now we need to generate the JWT. But before that, we must save it into the database first. So user report.save user. Now let's generate our JWT for the user. So string this token and JWT utils dot generate access token. You can copy it and paste it down here, but with a different name. So refresh token. Over here, we can just say you a user, I believe. Here we'll be taking the users. Now for the refresh token, I believe I need to provide additional. Yeah, I need to provide additional claims. So I will be going down here and make another method to provide extra claims. So it's going to be a hash map and a string and an object. Now we're going to set extra claims like this, and we'll be using it from the user. And now let's create the hash map. Let's create the hash map object with, so again string object, and we're going to be extra. Now new hash map. Now this extra will be putting it over here. So extra dot put, we're going to put the full name over here. Full name dot users dot get full name. You can add anything that you want. You can add their create date or something, but I will only add this. We're going to return extra. Now over here we're going to get extra claims and for the users, type users, and this one is going to be the user. Okay, that's about it. Yeah, I believe that's about it. And now let's return it. Since we are returning a type of response DTO, we can just return response DTO dot builder. Since we are, I think I have done it before. Yeah, I have make it a builder pattern, so we can just say dot builder and let's implement everything. So this email will be the user.get email, and now do everything. Full name. I think I put it full name, right? Yeah, I put the full name, so we can just say user get full name. Now refresh token. Going to be the refresh token. Access token going to be the access token. Now the roles going to be the list of roles. Yeah, that's about it. We forgot the dot build method. The dot build. Now everything should be working. Now let's test the code. Now I'm going to create a controller for it. Controller. And this controller going to create a off controller for it. So now let's implement our register method inside of our controller. So we will put this under as controller. And next is going to be request mapping. This request mapping will be mapped to here, going to be mapped to this one of api.off.register. So we can just say that the prefix will be API off. And over here, we will be making a post mapping since we will be creating the user. So over here now we're going to make it the register. So register like this, so that it will map to this one. And now let's say public response entity. And would be a type of response DO and register. This will take the register GTO, and in here we will return new response entity. But before that, we must inject this auth service into this auth controller first. So we can just, like we always do, private final auth service. Now I click, and now I forgot to mention one thing is to make this one, and also we need to make a request party, so we get it from the request party. Next, we're going to say auth service dot register, and we can just say the register DDO. And next is the status of the successful, so we can make it created. And before we can post this, I would like to tell you that we need to create the roles in our database first. If not, you will get an error that I already created the role user and role admin. You will need to create your roles first in order for it to map to the user, in order for it to put in here. So now let's test our code. Let's run it. Okay, now let's see if it will map it to the security config. Yes, it does. It will map to this security config. So now I will copy this and go into Insomnia and create a post method. Here, I'll copy this, and in this request body, I will be putting JSON since we are using JSON to make the request. So I will put everything like inside of this. So it would be email, email or email something, and this is our password string 1222, and our first name, our last name. You can put anything you want, and I will put this. I'm going to put my real name, so jump out like this. So let's make the request. Send. See, it is successful, and it had map everything successfully. This is our access token. This is our refresh token. So it had created everything successfully. So now if I will go back, I will need to create another method that is going to be the login. So let's implement our login first. Now let's go back to this auth service. Let's close the server. And down here, we'll be making a login. Public response video, and will be login. This login will be using the login video. I haven't created that, so let's create the login video. Login video. It's going to be a record, so we only need the email and password. So let's say email and password. Now over here, we're going to put a string email string password. We only need both of these, so let's go back. I'm going to put a login video. In here, I will find the user so that I can put it in our response video. So not this user, so user equal user repo dot find by email, and in here we can make login video dot email, or else we're going to throw username not found exception. Who username not found exception. User not found. I'll close this real quick, so it can be getting annoying. Now down here, I will make the refresh and access token again. So we can just copy this. So we want to generate a new token when the user log in. And next, let's return the response studio dot builder and dot build. Now let's between this we're going to put our access token, refresh token, and our full name user dot get full name, and what else? Email, email user dot get email. What else? Fetch the full name. I think we need a role, so user dot get roles. So now let's call this login inside of our controller. You can just do the same thing, but this time we'll be using a get method. So get mapping, and this will be a login, and this will be the login DTO. Login DTO. This will be the login. This will be the login DTO, and the status will be okay instead of created. Now if I were to go back, now let's test it. I can just copy this, and over here I will make another request that is a get request, and in here I will put the method that I'm going to use, login, and in this JSON I will be pasting my email and password. So finger crossed, let's start it. 4-3. That's not what I was expecting. So what is the issue? It's was unexpected. What is okay? Okay, because I have a comma over here, so that's why it's giving me an error. So now you see that it works, and we get everything back. Now, for the role-based authorization, for me now, let's close everything. For now, for the role-based authorization, I will be going over here and will create another controllers. Can be admin controller or something like that. I'll just say test controller, or maybe not, just controller like this. And the first mapping is going to be API / admin. Now over here, I will say get mapping. Now I'm going to just return a string, so like a string or something, string admin. This admin. Okay, now I'm going to return hello admin. Now I'm going to rerun this. This admin will be needed inside of here. Here it says that the authority must be an admin authority. So let's try it. Now go here, and now copy this header. What is wrong? API admin. Now let's just send a request. It will be for free. So now if I haven't created an admin role yet, so let's create an admin role in here real quick. So let's refresh over here. This is the user role and this is the role ID. So I will create another one. So a new role will be the 2 and another 2. So save it. Okay. Let's refresh. It has persisted. So the role admin will be the number 2 of the ID. Now I will log in over here, and now I'll be putting this access token inside of this header, or we can just go over here and make request over here like bearer token. We have to make the prefix so it will recognize as JWT. Copy it over here, and you see it revokes hello admin. But if I was to create another user, and the user only have the role user, so if I will do this, go jump around like this, or sure. So I create another user, and now let's over here and log in. And what is going on? Oh no, the comma again. Now everything is working. Now let's test it over here. If I were to make the request, I will get a free forbidden. It knows I'm logged in, but it doesn't allow me to make the request since this user only have the role user. So that's why it can be logged in. So that's for the role-based authorization. And now to finish everything, I will make the refresh token to make another access token. So we'll be going back to auth service and scroll down, and we will be implementing our refresh token. Now let's implement our refresh token. Wait, before that, we will be storing our token inside of Redis first. So I will be creating another class, can be a token service. This token service will be used to store our token inside of Redis, so we can make it a service. Okay, now we can make. Now I will have to auto. Now we'll have to auto wire this Redis config inside of token service. So private final Redis config. Right click and make a constructor for it and auto wire it. Now if that's done, we can implement that token or everything. We can save token like this, and now this will be using Redis template. The Redis template, you will have to implement it in here. So Redis template, and why is it how it's line? I think it's okay. Oh, okay, because of this. It's Redis template. No, it's not. Yeah, it's Redis template, I believe. Let's go back. Redis template. Oh, it will be a string template. I have not implemented this one, so delete it real quick. So now private. I think I implemented the wrong one, so let's delete it real quick. Private final string Redis template. Now let's delete these things, and in this Redis template we will have this of for value. It's going to make a do an operation to get a value. So now we can just set it. There are a lot of set methods. As you can see, if we do like this, we have a lot of set methods. We will be using the second one. The second one is we have the key, the value, the timeout. The timeout is the TTL. Like I said, is the time to live. If the time limit is up, it will automatically delete it from Redis for us. So now we have to make a string of key and a string of value and a string, not a string, a long. Then I will be using a long, so TTL. If you look back, here it's going to be a long. So now a key, value, and TTL. Also, we need to add the time unit, which can be milliseconds. then it's easier to calculate it. And now I think it's finished. So now we're going to create the get token. So string get token. This is going to take the key. So string key and return Redis template dot offer value dot get object key. So it's going to send the key like this. And now it's finished. Okay, now let's go back to our auth service. Okay, auth service. Now we will inject this token service inside of here. Now first I need to delete this private final token service. Token service and token service. Now I will need to implement this token service inside of here. So for that, I would like to create a key and the value for it. So the key final is going to be a key of final string, and it's going to be a string. So string access token like this. I think I'll only store the refresh token. So string refresh token equal to refresh token and colon and semicolon over here. Now let's implement sell to Redis. So if you go here, and now let's implement save token. So I'm going to make it a private because I don't want any other class to use it. So private void save token to Redis. And okay, now let's implement everything in here. So like the key, the value, the time to live. I'll be using the users, so I will get the user's ID from here and the string of the refresh token, and the not the string but the long of the time. I don't think we should use I can make it inside of here, so you don't have to. So we can just say long dot refresh token ETL. We're going to make JWT utils dot extract expire date. We're going to put the refresh token inside here, and we're going to do the get time. Essentially, we're getting the time in the Unix time over here, the Unix time. And now we can just save it Redis template dot, or not Redis template, Redis I didn't name it Redis template. Oh, it's a token service. I name it like that. Dot save token, and going to be the refresh tokens concatenate with the user ID. So we're going to be user dot get ID. Okay, now next is going to be the value will be the refresh token, and next is going to be the time to live for refresh token, time to live. Now everything is done. So next, let's create a method to invalidate the token. Over here, we're going to say it invalidate. Since refresh token, since the token cannot be normally invalidated, we have to make it to blacklist it, or to make a list that the token can no longer be used. So we're going to store only the refresh token. So like this, no need for this. Yeah, don't need for this. Now we're going to store the token, the refresh token over here like this. We're going to make it as a key with the refresh token. and we're going to get it. I'm going to set it. No, save it. So this one. So essentially it's kind of the same thing, but for this we have to make a string to blacklist it. So just like that, blacklisted token. And here we can just say blacklisted token over here. It's just like we are saving it, but we are going to invalidate it by making sure that it cannot be used. So blacklisted. So like that. Now let's go into implementing this token blacklisted. So private, not private. I want to make it public, so other class can use it. Public boolean is token blacklisted. In here we will have the string of token, refresh token. It's kind of same thing. I can just copy this one, but this time I don't need to copy it. So I have it for right now. So we can just say Redis not as template token service dot get token refresh token get. No, I don't think we should use it. Oh, okay. For this I'm going to make a key for it. So string key, you're going to get a key, so blacklisted plus the refresh token. If we find that the token is blacklisted, we can find it like this. So we can check it and equal to null. So if it equals to null, it doesn't exist in Redis. But if it doesn't equal to null, it means that it does exist. So we not allow the user to use the token to enter our application. And now we have implemented everything. Now let's just save it. So I can just say save token to Redis and provide everything. So we're going to provide the user and refresh token. Essentially we are saving it. And next we're going to do the same for the login. So token service dot token service dot is save Redis, and we're going to provide everything, user and refresh token. Same thing. So now let's implement our refresh method. So we're going to get the email from the access token. Thing dot email, and we're going to extract it from the JDBC utils by the JDBC utils. Now we're going to enter the access token, and now we're going to create a user object from it. User and user repo dot find by email. Now email, this one, email dot or else throw the same exception. So new user name exception, user not found. Now go to a new line. We'll close this side tab, left tab. And next we're going to find the refresh token. So refresh token from this user. So we're going to Redis Redis token service dot get token. So we're going to get by the key. So it's going to be refresh token plus the user dot id get id. So it's like that. We're getting the token from here. And next we're going to check if it is blacklisted or not. So here we're going to get if it is still in the Redis. Then we do specify the time to live for it. so it is equal to not null, and we're going to check if it's valid or not. The utils dot refresh token or not is token valid, refresh token, and user. Now we're going to invalidate it. I think we should yeah, we should check is it blacklisted or not. I think we should check it also. So this, and it's token blacklisted. So it's token blacklisted. We're going to specify the refresh token. Okay, the refresh token. So refresh token like this. I can make it in a new line. Go down here. I think we already validated it. So it's token valid. Oh, and will not expire. Oh, I don't think we should. Yeah, validating this. It's okay. So it is still in the database. So now let's invalidate the token if it does exist. So refresh token. And next we're going to create a new refresh token for the user. So new refresh token. And now we're going to say JFD utils dot generate refresh token. So it's going to be taking the extra claims user. And next we're going to store it in Redis again. So we're going to save, we're going to Redis and new refresh token. And what does it take? The user and okay, user. Now I think everything is done. Now we can just return it like over here. Just like over here. Now this is going to be the new refresh token. So I can make it like this. Refresh token. Or I just can make it like this. Enter it again. Else. No. Let's return null. I can make it like that. Now let's implement it in authentication controller. So we're going to use that, and we're going to implement which is refresh. So it's going to be a get mapping, and it's going to be a refresh. And next, not this, it's going to be public response entity, the type of response DDO, and we're going to say refresh. And next, we will be specifying the HTTP servlet since we are going to get it from the header. So HTTP servlet request, this one, request. So string of header and request dot get header and HTTP servlet. Oh no, this one, HTTP header, the above one, this one. We're going to use that and going to make the authorization now. We're going to check if essentially we're going to check like we do in the JLT filter. I can just copy it over here and paste it here without this do filter. I just return response. I can just return like that, no response. I think I want to make it a generic type, so I could just say this and HTTP status HTTP like this with response entity dot status dot HTTP status is going to be unauthorized, and body is login. Then if the user doesn't have the auth header, it means that the user isn't logged in right now. So we're going to specify please log in again. Now next we're going to we get the access token like we do in the auth filter, like over here. It's kind of the same thing. I can just copy it here. Now access token. Yes, token. Now I'm going to I think I shouldn't make it like this. I think we already get the JT access token and we have implemented this refresh, so I can just say login response. Login response. No, not login response, just response DDO. Response DDO and refresh. Going to be off service dot refresh. Not off header, off service dot refresh. And going to provide the access token. And now we're going to return it. Return response entity, and we're going to stop status. Status is going to be 200, and it's going to be body of refresh. Or you can just, like always do, just HTTP status dot OK, like this. So now let's test it, if it works or not. I didn't think we have checked it before. Oh, we haven't checked it, so we have to make a check for it over here. So yeah, in the auth filter, I think we should make it an auth filter. Now over here, I'll provide the and now I'm going to otherwise, no, not otherwise, I can just copy it over here. Where is my auth service? Okay, here it is. This token blacklisted, so we can just copy it here. And I think we can, no, not just copy it over here. So I can just blacklist it. If I want to check it, where do I want to check it? If I already over here, this token blacklisted. I think we already checked it in the auth service. So let's look it back. If yeah, I think we already checked it. I think we don't need to make it in the filter. So let's see if it works or not. Now I'm going to go over here and say get my thing. Now let's go out over here and make another request. Now I'm going to re-log in. This is my access token. Now let's go over here. Not this one, this one. Going to be the bearer token. Place it over here and bearer. Yeah, so the refresh does work. Now I'm now I think this works. Now I want to check, or if I want to check, I have to create another endpoint for the user. So I will need to create another endpoint for the user. So, or maybe not, I just can overweight, just say API and create another one just like it, so that the user can enter. So this one is going to be user/user. This one going to be /admin. /admin, and this is going to be the user. Hello user. Now let's test it if the auth token can be used or not. Oh, I think we can use it since I'm creating a refresh token now. Let's create it. You can copy this and make another point for the user. So like this. Since this is a user, this user doesn't have admin access, so can do it again. Now over here, I'm going to make the bearer request again. Okay, over here. Now the bearer prefix. Yeah, hello user. So now let's refresh the token. So now let's implement our logout method. Before we can do that, we have to go to our security config over here. And next, we're going to create an endpoint for our logout method. So auth and logout. And next, we're going to create a service so that we can implement our logout in our controller. So it's going to be public void. It's not going to return anything. So public void. Before I do that, let's explain how we can create our logout. To create our logout, we need to blacklist both refresh and our access token. So we need to blacklist both of them. So here I'm going to say public void logout, and in here I'm going to take my access token since we're going to take it from the header. And next, I'm going to get the emails from my access token. So email utils.extract emails and access token. Let's have a section. Oh, it doesn't have. So next, it's going to be our user, and next we're going to get our users from our email. So next is JWT is user repo dot find by emails, and we're going to put our email. Since this is an optional, so we can go for the same assertion as always. And now I'm going to put the same assertion is new user name not found and user not found. I'm going to close this real quick. It's kind of annoying. Next, to new line. Now, next we're going to get our refresh token based off this user ID. We're going to get it from Redis because in here we have a token service that we can get the token. So over here, now we need to say string refresh token. It's going to be token service dot get token. This get token is going to get the key over here. It's going to get a key, and the key is going to be refresh plus user ID. So I can create a new string and going to concatenate both of them. Okay. And going to be refresh token plus our user ID. User.get ID is that our key. So now refresh key. And we have get our refresh token. Now let's invalidate both of them. So to invalidate both of them, we're going to say invalidate, since we already created over here, invalidate both of them. So we can invalidate access token and also invalidate our refresh token. Just invalidate both of them. And now let's go. Okay. Now we're going to go to our JWT filters. We're going here because we are certifying that we have blacklisted our token. So next we're going to copy this. You can import this from this observers, but I like to make it over here. I think I should have make this generic, but yeah, you can change it as a, you can refactor it yourself. I'm not going to show you. So I'm going to import my token service. So it's going to be private token service. going to make it final and add a constructor. You must import this as well. I simply imported earlier. So next, everything checks out. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to make another checking. So it's going to be is token blacklisted. So we can just provide our token over here, and everything should work fine. So now let's implement our auth controller for our logout. So I'm going to close everything. So to implement our logout, we must use the provided Spring class. I'll show you in a bit. So now let's create our logout. It's going to be logout over here, public response entity, and I'm going to put a string. You can return anything you want, and logout. Now over here, we're going to use this security. I think it's security context folder, or it's going to be called. I think it's just one. Let me double check. I think there's a logout. So logout. It should be one. So it's going to be security logout. Here's one. Security context logout handler. We're going to create this one, logout handler, new security logout handler. And this will have a method called logout. It will have a method called logout, and it takes the request, the response, and the authentication. So we can just provide all of them. We can just go in, copy this, copy everything, and put it in our logout method. The new line, then provide request, response, and authentication. Now for everything should be working. Now let's invalidate our token. So the same as we are doing over here. No, not over here. It's over here. We're going to get the headers and do everything. So okay. So now of header string of headers request dot get header and the authorization header. So it's going to be HTTPS headers this one, and now the authorization. We're going to get the auth header, and now we're going to do the same as always. We're going to check if it exists or not. Auth headers equal null, and the other one is going to check if it does contain the bearer prefix. So auth headers, that is one auth headers dot contains bearer prefix. If it doesn't contain this, we are going to return error or something. So you can just return response entity, new response entity. This is going to take please log in or something. You can type it anything you want. Please log in or something. And next is the status, HTTP status dot okay or something. That request. And now I think we can check anything, or we can put in unauthorized like that. And now things should be working. Now we're going to get our access token. Our access token, we're going to get it from the header, the same as the same way as we do it before. Access token and auth header dot substring 7, and now we should be getting everything. So we're going to log out, and we're going to use this auth service. Auth service dot logged out this token. Yeah, so I think everything should be working fine after this. just now, first return a new response entity, and it's going to be logout plus folder and http status dot okay. Now let's test it. Go over here, and now let's create a logout. It's going to be a post, and I'm going to copy the endpoint. So copy everything over here. Now this is going to take a bearer token, but first I need to log in. So now we can test first. Test if we can enter the user. Yeah, we can use it. Now let's log out. And bearer. Now log out. Log out successful. Now if we were to go back into our user and let's send another request, so we can no longer access it. So I think it's working fine. And yeah, I think everything should work fine. Let's test everything. Log in again. Now go here. Yeah, we can enter it. Now I can going to make another fresh token. Now I'm copy this again. And now let's log out. Yes, log out successful. Now we can no longer use it. So yeah, I think everything is working fine. So yeah, thank you for watching. And now before that, I'm going to check in my Redis so that it has stored it. Yeah, so we blacklisted everything. So I think everything is working fine. So thank you for watching. I hope you like my video, and please subscribe to me. It does mean a lot. And see you in the next video. Thank you.